I'm Jess, and this is Japan. A little bit hard to spot, but if you just keep your eyes out for these signboards, you won't get lost. Don't worry about it. Let's go check it out. I hope you guys are ready to see some really cool stuff, because I am. Are you ready? Say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Itadakimasu. Let's dig in. Welcome to Kokugakuin University Museum. This museum is right next to the university, but it's got a separate entrance, so the public is free to come and go. It's free admission, and you can check out the history of Japan from ancient times. So it started out with collections from professors of the university. So they would have small bits of pottery, different artifacts from ruins and things that had been excavated, and it slowly grew into one of the most popular museums in Tokyo. So we're really excited to show you some ancient pottery. I know I'm fired up, so why don't we take a look? Wait, no, we got this way. This is the entrance right here. Let's go. So of course they are making sure that everybody is kept safe and healthy during these times. So usually you can walk about freely in the museum. It's always been that way. You can go to the different sections of the museum. They are divided into separate sections. One is the school's history, one is archaeology, and one is Shinto, which is one of the major religions of Japan. So usually you can walk about freely, but due to the circumstances, they have set it up so that you walk just one route throughout the museum. So we're going to go ahead and show you the museum in order on that route. So let's take a look. So the first section here is the special exhibition section. Now the contents of this section is going to change periodically based on current events, the season, you name it. So by the time that you get here, it's not going to be what you see here in the video. But rest assured, it's going to be something really interesting, so check it out. So the route that we'll follow through the museum starts in the Jomon period, thousands and thousands of years ago, goes into the Yayoi period, and then the Kokugakuin period. So you can see how Japan has changed culturally and just developed as a society over thousands and thousands of years. It's really, really interesting. So here you can see some bronze pieces. This one is a bronze bell, and then we've got this sword-shaped piece right here too. So these are really interesting, just in like the fine decorations and the handle and everything. These are ritual objects actually. These are from the Yayoi period. Super cool. And if you follow me back this way, you'll see one of the most iconic pieces in the museum's collection. These are ritual pieces from the Kokugakuin period. And take a look at this guy in the middle. This guy is so interesting. So it might look like he's actually got horns, but those aren't horns. If you look carefully, those are little fingies up on top of there. Those are his hands. So it's this little pot with a human face, with his hands up in the air. Not super clear what exactly he was used for, but definitely a real ritualistic kind of object here. But I think he's kind of cute, don't you? So if you've ever played Animal Crossing, you might actually recognize these guys. There's a couple characters that are based on these. These are called Dogu, which are really distinctive figurines from the Jomon era. And they started out really, really simple, started evolving over time to just be more intricate, and they started out with just the torsos actually, and then they grew arms and legs as time went on. Some of these are kind of creepy, some of them are kind of cute. It's up to you. It's all objective. Subjective? Subjective. That's really stupid. And then this goggle-eyed guy. I am so excited to see this in person. Once upon a time, I took an art history class that had to do with Japan, and we talked about this kind of pottery. This is Jomon era pottery, but this is really, really highly intricate, decorative. They started out really, really simple. We'll show you some pottery later on, but they were actually stuck into the ground used for cooking. And then they had these really, really decorative, this one's known as this like flame decoration, I think it's called. And these really, really decorative ones you would think weren't used for cooking either, but actually some of them were, and it's really, really interesting. It's interesting that something this detailed, this flashy, was used for cooking as well. So as we enter the Kokugakuin period, we start to see these guys. These guys are called Hanawas. These are person-shaped figurines made out of clay, and these were used in lieu of human sacrifice, actually. And these are found at a lot of burial mounds from the early 3rd, 4th, 5th centuries. They don't always come in shapes of people. There's actually there's stuff like horses, there's buildings, there's carriages, things like that. So yeah, it's interesting to think about how these were used back in the day. But yeah, also got that kind of creepy, cute vibe going on. So this is a really interesting part of the museum. They've got one wall that just curves around. It's full of pottery, and they've laid it out from Jomon era through Yayoi, through Kokugakuin era, and you can really see in detail how this pottery evolved over time, and how different methods of cooking and things like kind of, gave people the nutrition they needed for their brains to expand. And so like you can see human evolution through this pottery. It's really fascinating. So we start out with these super, super simple earthenware pots that are jammed into the ground, used for, cooking stuff. And then as we go along, we start to see little decorative bits added here and there as people start to mess around with things. People start settling in place. They're not moving around as much. And so they've got more time to make art, I suppose. And then that's where you really start to get into the super cool, artistic. You kind of see into like ancient people's minds, Like, I don't think humans have really changed that much over time. In terms of being artistic and having fun doing stuff. We've definitely changed. Yeah, this is super cool. You start to see the variety in pottery. little teapot-looking things. These almost look like modern day. Are these lanterns? Maybe lanterns. And we've got these big guys. These are actually used for burying the dead. So like I said, as people start to settle in little settlements, so they didn't move around as much, so they didn't just bury someone in the ground, move to another place. They started to form ritual and society and culture. And this is one example of that. So around the 6th century in Japan, Buddhism finally came from the continent. And so they've got this whole section that has a Buddhist artwork, different kinds of religious objects that you can check out. So you can really see how Japan shifted in like culture with these different influences that were coming from China and India and everywhere. So yeah, you can see they've got these little stone pagodas here. They've got different motifs and things that are parts of buildings and shrines and temples and stuff. And yeah, it's really interesting. You can really see how Japanese people evolved over time. So these are more recent. These are from the Edo period, but they also have this really magnificent collection of mirrors that are made out of metal. And so these are the back sides of the mirrors. Obviously, I can't see my face in this. But yeah, on the back side would be the mirror, and then they were just like really ornately decorated. And if you go around here, they also started to be made with handles. So these are giant hand mirrors made out of metal, but they're so beautiful and just really, really detailed.